doesn't take this one. There we go. Welcome to the WalterFootball.com After Dark Show. It's July 11, 2025. We're going to do a couple more best ball drafts for this 2025 NFL season. We did a couple last night, but we're not going to do too many next week and the week after. So I figured we might as well just get them in while we can. So before we get all that, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something from the merch store. It is our March is Greed Month t-shirts, which there's a story behind that. I'll maybe get into it later during the show. You can get that as well as many other things at the merch store here. We have 50% off sale. You can change colors of your t-shirts. We can get long sleeve t-shirts, hoodies, infant onesies if you want to do that as well. So anything purchased here will help us out. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people I met at Penn State for 6 years. Also, please consider super chat, super stickers. It's the best way to support the show because YouTube ads just really pay nothing. I say that all the time, and it's true. John Sanders gave us a great super chat yesterday, so a shout out to John, who made his triumphant return to the show. Just wish it was under better circumstances, but hopefully everything goes well there. So, all right, we are joined by Mike Lusheen of NFLRoughDraft.com. Mike, how's it going?
It's going great. And hey, speaking of Penn State, I know this isn't football, but Gavin McKenna is going to Penn State. That guy's a generational hockey prospect, so it's exciting.
Nice. I don't even think if I may be wrong here. Things that may have changed. I don't think that Penn State's in the Big Ten for hockey. I think it's like different or something. There's like different formatting for leagues or whatnot. That at least that was the case before. Maybe that's changed. But it was a weird. I always found that to be a weird thing. But that's news to me. So I guess that's a good thing. So yeah, we're gonna do another best ball draft here. Mike, do you want to intro yourself for anyone who hasn't heard you yet, or your website NFLRoughDraft.com? I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's giving me this error message. I'm gonna look at it. So while you do that, can you want to intro yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mike Lusheen. You know, me and my friend Ray Mencio run NFL Rough Draft. We have for about 17 or 18 years at this point. Lost track. But we've won the Huddle Report accuracy rankings 3 times for our top 100 board. I think the only other people who've won it 3 times are Todd McShay, Bob McGinn, the retired beat writer from the Green Bay Packers, and the guy who actually runs the Huddle Report. But yeah, we focus on the NFL draft, and then after that, it's into fantasy football season. So we just finished up all of our dynasty leagues. We're in about 50 of them. And, Scott Fishbowl is this week. So Scott Fishbowl. And that's kind of like our intro to redraft. So, looking forward to joining the show again tonight and doing some best ball redraft.
Hold on a second. I have to enter in this code. I think that's why it's giving me issues here. I had to log out and then log back in and enter a code. It tends to be annoying sometimes when you do that. So let me refresh. This should work now. Let's hope so. So we're gonna be up. So do you want the first pick or do you want me to get the first pick? We're gonna alternate like we did yesterday. I kind of forget because either way, if you take the first pick here, I'm gonna take the first pick in the next draft.
Yeah, it's up to you. I don't really care. It's up to you.
Okay, why don't you? I know who I would take here.
I would take Malik Neighbors here. Is that who you would take?
Yeah. So. Okay, so I guess we still didn't resolve that. Let's do a random number generator. This is what we did last night. If it's 1, you let's say if it's 1, I get the even picks. If it's 2, you get the even picks.
Okay.
So I get the even picks. Okay. So there we go. That's how we settled this. So this will be my pick coming up here. So I didn't, as I was logging in and out, I didn't get a chance to look at everything. So I'm up here with my picks. There's Derrick Henry, Devon Achane, AJ Brown's down there. He's tempting. Normally don't get too many shots at Derrick Henry in the second round, although he's been dropping a little bit. This is a tough call. I think AJ Brown's my favorite player. I've been wanting to draft Achane more just because of his upside, but I think I'm going to stick with my favorite player here. It's going to be AJ Brown. Who would you have taken with this pick?
I think I might have taken Brown. There are a lot of good options there. I feel like drafting toward the end of the first round this year is the spot to be, which is a drastic change from the last couple of years when it seemed like being in the top 5 or 6 was, where you wanted to be. But AJ Brown was a first round redraft pick last year. He didn't do anything last year to get pushed out of the first round. It's just others emerged. Like Malik Neighbors, our first round pick, who had the third most points per game of any rookie wide receiver, I believe, in history.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah, he was awesome last year. I think he could be the number one receiver next year. I think that's definitely a possibility. I was listening to some show where people are trying to like guess the correct order of like how these top 12 players will finish. Not just based on ADP of where they're going. And I think the two co-hosts both had Chase one, but I was like, I think there's a good chance Neighbors is going to be one. He's going to have better quarterbacking this year, more experience. There's no competition for targets. He's just a monster. I think he could be just an incredible player. So yeah, I'm always excited to get Neighbors. I think you said drafting at the end is good, and I think that is the case. But I personally would like to have like maybe the 7th pick or 6th, 7th, 8th pick, just because there was a dead zone to me in the 4th round, and I don't want to get caught up in it at the end of the 3rd round if like all the viable players are taken. So that's like kind of what I fear. Although on the other hand, there might be a chance that you get both your picks at like, for example, 312 and 401. They might be actually like good players, not like, and you won't get a dead zone player at all. So I guess there's like just some give and take there, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like wherever I draft, I'm usually like I'm never like oh man, I hate drafting in the spot this year.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, especially those first couple of rounds. Last year in the first round, you had like 10 first round picks. And then if you were picking 11 or 12, you were kind of just out of luck unless somebody made a bad pick. Tyreek Hill jumping into the second round. I think he's going to start to go early third. From what I see on the other sites, the ADP for him is really rising.
I've seen that. We did 2 drafts yesterday on stream, and he went second round both times. And I'm just sitting there like, thank you, thank you for taking this guy. There's just so many landmines with him. He's an older player. He seems to have lost a step. That offensive line is a disaster. Tua Tagovailoa is a concussion waiting to happen. He might go to jail. And so like all this stuff, I'm like, please just draft him. I don't want to even consider him. Like if he falls to me hypothetically in the 4th round, I don't want to think about like, oh man, do I have to take this guy? I just want to avoid him. So anytime he's drafted, I'm like, smile on my face. I'm like, thank you for paying the rake, and congratulations on your non-victory.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher on him than you are, but I think the last time I was on, I think we drafted him like mid to late 3rd. So at least we got a little bit of a value there based off of where he's going now.
Yeah, he is. He was being drafted with more value for sure. We're up in 2 picks, so this is all you. So you can tell me if you want to look at a different position, but this is who we have. And I guess I should say, just in case you don't know, you can enlarge this. You can hit to get the full screen because funny enough, Kenny last night didn't know that, and like he's been using this StreamYard thing with me for 7 years, and last night he's like, "Wait a second, I can enlarge this and make it full screen." I'm like, I'm like, Kenny, you've been squinting at the screen for 7 years. Like, that was insane. Anyway, okay, Chase Brown goes. So this is who we have here.
Yeah, I know this is another guy you don't really love, but Kyren Williams late in the 3rd round. If he stays that lead back, I know Sean McVay is talking about, oh, we need to get other running backs involved more often. They've historically given the ball to one guy. I'll believe it when I see it. So I really like Kyren Williams here.
Okay, let's take him. I don't hate Kyren Williams. I think that there's some downside here, but you can make the case for downside with most players anyway. There is a lot of upside, and I do like the Rams this year. I wish Alaric Jackson wasn't hurt. Kind of like it kind of dampened things for me because I put the Rams in a lot of permutations for exacta bets. So when I saw that injury, I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I still think I would have done it though. Maybe to a slightly lesser extent. Um, and anyway, he could be ready to go by the playoffs anyway. So may not be that big of a deal. I personally would have taken Jackson Smith and Jigba. But he's off the board now. I was listening to some guy. Some guy has a show. I call him Mr. Jump Cuts because it's just like every 2 seconds is like a jump cut, which is like infuriating. But he has a large following, so I like to hear who he likes and who he doesn't like. I do that for a lot of people, and he hates Jackson Smith and Jigba this year because because they signed Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp's going to play in the slot, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is not. I don't know if what you thought about that.
I think Cooper Kupp turned to dust a couple years ago, but we thought
Yep.
there was a chance that he might rebound last year, and then he
Mhm.
did. So
Yes.
if he had anything left in the tank, the Rams would have kept him instead of going out and cutting him and signing 32, soon to be 33-year-old Devontae Adams.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's gonna fall back to us. We get to stack AJ Brown with Jalen Hurts. I think I may have considered Jane Daniels if he was there. Kittle as well. Again, this is what happened to me here. Like I hate round four, and Jackson Smith and Jigba was the last guy for me who wasn't in the dead zone. Maybe Brees Hall. I'm not as high on Brees Hall as the other guys in round three, but I could at least like take him there. Mike Evans, I have no interest in. He's going to be 32, a 32-year-old receiver relying on speed who just lost his left tackle for at least a couple games at least. So I have no interest in Evans, and like really any non-quarterback, non-tight end who comes off in the fourth round, I'm either going to be like, oh, I don't like that guy, or I think he's going a little too early. So we're going to see how that unfolds. Before we do, does anything stand out to you in the third round as maybe surprising, or you're like, oh, this is a great pick, or this is a horrible pick? To me, it's kind of no surprise really. I don't think, unless I'm like missing something.
No, I think, I really think the third round this year is loaded. You don't usually see this much talent in the third round. Truthfully, I'm a little bit lower on Devontae Adams. Again, he's going to be 33 by
Yeah.
December. The track record for 33-year-old receivers is not great, to say the least. And Terry McLaurin, I think the touchdowns are going to come down a little bit, which that's probably going to hurt his fantasy production a little bit. So the two of them, I don't love them in the third round. But you look at Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, Brees Hall. I think you can argue any one of those guys very late in the second round. And certainly all three of them have a chance to be top 6 overall running backs this year with the amount of volume they have. Questions, of course, but they're going to have a ton of volume.
It's definitely true. I agree with you with Adams. The 33-year-old receiver kind of scares me. Although he could be one of those receivers who kind of plays into his mid-30s pretty well, like Anquan Bolden or something. I could see that, but he's definitely not going to be the elite guy that we saw in the past. Like Bolden, he did take a step backward into his mid-30s, although he did play pretty well. We had a couple of questions here. Slew asking, I wonder what the most Mike has ever paid for a hot dog. This is in relation to Jerks of the Week. So,
this is going to be. Here's a little bit of information about me. I have not eaten a hot dog in over 20 years. So
wow, why? Why?
Yeah. I just, I don't know. I got to a point where I'm like, these things are delicious, but I think I saw some stat in my 20s and said like every hot dog you eat shortens your life by about 5 minutes. And I was like, have enough bad habits. Maybe I'll cut that one out. I miss hot dogs, but I haven't had one in a long time. So $0.
Wow, I'm surprised I'm not dead given that stat. I love hot dogs, and Kenny last night was talking about that. There's actually a hot dog restaurant across the street from my house, and they're delicious. Like you can get like anything on them, like macaroni and cheese, even, which like might shorten your span by like five years instead of 5 minutes. But like they close at 3 o'clock, which is like the most awkward thing. Like it's not even like are you why are you closing at like way after lunch but before dinner? Like why don't you close after dinner or like immediately after lunch? Like just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, are people going there for breakfast hot dogs? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like it's just such a bad business model. I don't know. You're up in two picks. So what do you got here?
Okay. If Kenneth Walker makes it there, fifth round Kenneth Walker is a great value in my opinion. I mean, I have him at the end of the third round in my
Okay.
personal rankings. So he stands out right there. And we'll see if he gets there.
Yeah, we still two picks. This one, Zay Flowers, is off the board. We have one more pick. Yeah, I like Kenneth Walker there for sure. It's definitely one of the players I'd consider here. Given that we have one running back. The only caveat is he has the same buy as Kyron Williams. But I don't think that's a big deal. We just have to make sure we don't draft another week 8 by running back, or at least until the late rounds. Yeah, we're on the clock. So Walker's the pick.
He stands out to me. I have him in the third round.
Okay,
Late in the third round. He's probably like my 312, but I have him in the third.
okay. Do you want to? I mean, we had you on the show for that last week, but do you want to? For those who didn't listen, do you want to talk about like why you like Walker a lot?
Yeah, I mean, he was banged up a lot last year, which I think kind of held him back. But if he goes back to being healthy, he had some really big games. He's going into his third year now. I think they might lean on the run a little bit more with Darnold there. So, and of course Metcalf and Cooper Cup. Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are gone. So that passing game might not be as good as it was in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could be a guy who bounces back this year for sure. For me, this is close between Rome Odunze and Travis Hunter. I think I'm going to go Rome Odunze. I feel like if they were in the same draft together, I think Odunze would have gone higher. Charlie Campbell, he talked to a bunch of sources in the NFL a year ago, and some of the teams had Odunze like very close to Harrison and Neighbors. So I think that if you combine the two rounds, the two draft classes, I think Odunze would have gone higher. Plus he has more experience, and he has the chance to be the number one in Chicago this year. So I just think there's a lot of upside with him at 603. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if, like, next year, the ADPs of DJ Moore and Rome Odunze are reversed. Whereas, like, Rome Odunze is going round 4 and Moore is going, like, round 6.
I could see Rome Odunze going in round 1 next year. I'm with Charlie. I'm with you on this. We had Odunze right with Neighbors and Marvin Harrison. And, okay, maybe that makes us wrong. I don't know. But the guy was a rookie last year. You had Keenan Allen there. Caleb Williams, he's got potential, but he wasn't great. Eberflus wasn't great. They didn't have a great coaching staff last year. Odunze is one of those guys where you're looking at the 6th round. That's the type of guy where if he does nothing more than he did last year, then all right, it's a bye week play. But that's the type of player who could legitimately be a first round pick in redraft next year, and that's a league winner. I love that pick.
Yeah, I think he could definitely be league winner. I'm a big fan of him. We had another question here. Patrick says, Walt, how much have you spent on best ball drafts? Love the content, but it seems like a lot of money spent. I think we're actually can pull up the exact figure off screen. Hold on. I'll you want to guess an over under, Mike, while I take a look here?
I'll go 20 times. I'll go $3,000.
Oh, okay. It's only $1,400 right now. Okay. Not too bad. It will be $3,000 by the time we're done. At least $3,000. I kind of want to max out the $20 $2 million to first, which is 150 times 20, which would be $3,000. Although I did have a couple of free tickets, so it won't quite be $3,000. It'll be close. And then I entered in a bunch of like $8 contests and $3 contests and $5 contests. I have a couple $33 contests I'm into. I might want to do like a single entry $100 contest at some point later in the summer. So yeah, it's a lot of money, but I will be getting some of the money back. Like I can't imagine a scenario where I whiff on all the lineups and I don't win any. That didn't happen last year. I don't see why that would happen this year. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, first of all, it's fun, and also sneakily, this is a tax write off for me because look, we're doing this on the show, and I analyzed a bunch of other drafts I'm in too. So I can write it off of my taxes, I suppose. Which is I guess it's unique. Any content creator can do that. So and I'm as the most I always say the most libertarian person you ever talk to. I am all for skirting any way that you can pay the government. So
yeah, I think we all are.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Some people think that they should pay more. People should pay more. So I don't like the sort of people. But anyway, and we actually did you hear about that 90% gambling rule? That the tax where you can only write off 90% of your losses on your gambling outcomes.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, we actually I did a show on Saturday where I did a couple of best ball drafts and I was talking about like ways to avoid it and like get around it. And uh there's some ways you can do it, like I'll get to that in a bit. Just kind of like regurgitating content from 5 days ago, but you're going to be up in 2 picks, so I didn't want to like interfere. So, what are you thinking here with 2 picks ahead here?
Well, if either of them are there, I know they're at the top of the ADP here,
Couple.
but Patrick Mahomes and Pinshawn Judkins both really stand out. Judkins for the reason that I like Dunze, rookie running backs. I know you don't like the Browns' offense, but rookie running backs, especially with his talent, have a chance to sort of blow up and win you your league. And then Patrick Mahomes, I kind of like him as a bounce back candidate. You've got Rashee Rice, looks healthy. He's not getting suspended this year. Hollywood Brown is fully healthy this year. Xavier Worthy's got a year under his belt. He looked really good in the playoffs. And now, we see the huge jump in year 2 for receivers. So I like Mahomes. I also like Judkins. So you can tie that.
Well, we already have a quarterback, so I'm going to take Judkins.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so Judkins will be our flex. Yeah, I mean, you referenced it. I don't like to take bad players players on bad offenses. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works out, but I don't know. For I'd rather just take players on good offenses, and I think that for the most part, you're going to do better. But Judkins could certainly have a big year. I love his talent coming out of Ohio State and everything, and we'll see if he wins the job. There was a report a couple of days ago saying that Jerome Ford is the favorite to start the year, which I don't think you can read too much into that because it's only July and training camp hasn't even started yet. And like once Judkins is impressive, I think that they're going to go to him eventually. But I think the first couple of weeks will be a little slower for him. So if you're drafting him in like a regular league, I wouldn't start him right away. I'd like wait until week 3 or week 4. Although if he does play right away, he has a great matchup week 1 against Cincinnati. So there's that. So this is my pick here. Mahomes is the best player available, but again, we have Hurts. I feel like we don't need to take another quarterback, and I really don't see Mahomes passing Hurts too often to enter the lineup. So I'm going to pass on him. I'm going to go with another guy who could be potential league winner, Emeka Egbuka. Speaking of Ohio State players, he's someone who has I feel like league winning ability. He's going to be potentially the number 2 receiver in Tampa. Like Chris Godwin, I don't think he's going to play that much. He's injured. And then you have Mike Evans, who's an older player. Like, what if he gets hurt? Like, suddenly Egbuka could be the number 1 receiver there in an offense that throws a lot. So I love his talent. I just think he's just a great prospect. So, yeah, and I think that he's just going way too late. Like, just based on his talent level and, like, the fact that Godwin is dealing with some major injury issues right now, I think he should be going like 2 rounds earlier, like 6 rounds. So, what are your thoughts on that pick?
Yeah, I think he's got a really high floor. That's the deal with him. I mean, at Ohio State, he was Mr. Reliable. So I like that pick. It's really going to come down to all those variables that you discussed. Evans, does he fall off? Is Godwin healthy? For the beginning of September, or is it going to be October or November? That'll make a big difference. Does Jalen McMillan take a step forward? He wasn't bad last year. He's pretty good in the red zone too. And then of course Cade Otton. We saw Cade Otton in those few games where they were kind of hurting at receiver. He had some monster games. So he's a third-year tight end now. We wonder if he takes a jump forward. Certainly, there's league-winning potential in that receiving core.
Yeah. Taxation is indeed theft. I'm sold. Say no more. Yeah. So yeah, on Saturday we were talking about like, and someone told me this before even this new law passed, or I guess it was like it's part of the bill. But anyway, so something that this guy does, and he's a professional bettor. He like if he goes to a casino, he'll go to a sports book and he'll just look around for betting slips. He'll just pick them up and just take them with him. And there's like no evidence that he didn't make these bets. So those are like extra ways you can add to like your losses, because I mean no one's going to leave a winning betting slip behind. Obviously they're all losses, but you can use them to deduct from your winnings. So just say you legitimately have 10,000 in losses, but you pick up $2,000 worth of losses on betting slips that just people leave lying around, then that increases the amount that you can take off. Another way to do it is to deposit money into an offshore account and just declare that as a loss because you didn't win yet. So, for example, like if you need to like make up $2,000 or something to break even or something, or even to get a little ahead, then you could deposit like $2,000 into an offshore betting account, use that as a loss, and then in a later year when you don't have as many winnings, you can take it out and count that as a win. If you have more losses than wins, then it won't matter.
So that kind of like capital gains taxes in that respect with stocks. Yeah, I've
yes,
done that with stocks before.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There's just ways to go around it. Yeah, like for example, in the stock market, if you had like huge gains, then just take losses, to kind of counter that and whatnot, and then you can buy back your stocks like 30 days later. So yeah, definitely try to find ways around it. There's no reason why the government should be taking your money at all. I think it's ridiculous. The senator was Mike Crapo. Just what a name, right? From Idaho. I don't know why he put this in, and I feel like Nevada's never voting Republican ever again. Not that I won't necessarily want to get into politics here, but I just think that's like it's like a poison pill, just like giving Nevada to the Democrats like forever. Like I think it was horrible. So we're up in 3 picks here. Let's get to the best player available. So we have one quarterback, 3 running backs, 4 receivers. Luther Burden just went a little earlier than he normally does. So you're up in 2 picks. So what are you thinking here?
All right. Well, I like Tyler Warren. So I like him there. Is it too early for another quarterback? I know I'm used to redraft leagues where you set lineups. So this would be too early for another quarterback in that.
It depends. If there's like some amazing value, then it's definitely not too early. Like if you see someone on the board, you're like, wow, I have to get them. Then sure, we can take one. But it's your pick, so you're up on the clock.
I kind of like Tyler Warren here. I know he's a rookie. I've mentioned this on your show a couple of times. I think he's going to get some goal line carries. I think they're going to shy away from that with Anthony Richardson. It's something that Warren did a lot at Penn State. They've got Downs there, but I think he's going to be the focal point of that offense along with Downs. I know Pittman's there as well, but I just think he's someone who I'm not saying he's going to have Brock Bowers 110 catch season, but 90, 95, that wouldn't surprise me at all. You look at recent years, Laporta and Dalton Kincaid, along with Bowers, that's the last 2 years. I think we have 3 of the top like 4 or 5 uh, most receptions for a rookie tight end. I think Warren can
Yeah.
continue that.
Yeah, I think he could have a huge year for sure. I'm definitely on board with him here. I'm up. It's not as clear as what we should do. We have 3 running backs, 4 receivers. I would like a receiver, but don't love anything in this range. Maybe Trey Harris. Looking at him potentially. Yeah, let's go with Trey Harris. I think he has a lot of upside. But I was thinking about Jaden Higgins. He went. I was thinking about Keon Coleman. He went. It's kind of like caught me off guard. Those 2 guys went. We needed a 5th receiver just because you need 3 to start this league, and usually your receiver is usually your flex is a receiver, I should say. So Harris, I thought was the best receiver available, unless you like Brandon Ayuk, but I don't. Given that he's come out the 20 ACL and MCL, just seems like too much.
Yeah, he's not going to play for a while, and I mean, in best ball leagues, that's just having a giant hole in your lineup for a couple of months.
Yeah, you can't do that. By the way, we've taken 4 rookies in a row, which is
Oh gosh.
strange. Yeah, we didn't take any early, but yeah, it just we devolved into the rookie team. Apparently, I don't know. I mean, I like these guys, so I'm not like too concerned about it. Just thought it was funny how that worked out. I was considering Drake May as well. Now we don't need a quarterback because Hurts is there, but May has a lot of upside, and it feels like he's one of those guys who could outscore Hurts just based on his rushing ability, and that offense is going to be better overall. And with May having more experience and stuff, and the easy schedule, it just feels like he's set up for a great year. So I was thinking about that.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me to see him have a better year than Jaden Daniels. And I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, a lot of times you see the rookie quarterbacks have these huge years, then the league catches up. They have the whole offseason to watch film, and sometimes they take a step back. We saw that with CJ Stroud. We've seen that with a few of these big time first round quarterbacks. And actually, even if you look at that Baker Mayfield class is really fascinating, because if you looked at that class of quarterbacks. After the rookie years, you'd say Baker Mayfield went 1. Baker Mayfield was the best quarterback in that draft.
Yeah.
After year 2, I think you would say it was Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah, because he won MVP there.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But
not Sam Darnold. I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean, even then, he's
yeah.
at least better than what it looked like he was going to be.
Yeah, poor Josh Rosen was never considered the best. No. He is the one guy I never liked him coming out of UCLA. Just and Charlie even reported it before the draft happened. He's like Josh Rosen has interest other than football. And so he got some negative feedback from the draft community, like the pious people on Twitter who hate us for no reason. I always thought these people are ridiculous, but they fought back against Charlie, and I think even Josh Rosen responded to him. But yeah, I mean, I guess Charlie was right after all, as usual. So anyway, we had a couple more comments here. Josh saying McVay and Shanahan run their players into the ground. Yeah, some coaches do. Remember Herm Edwards with Larry Johnson giving him 416 carries in 1 year? It just ruined his career. He was done after that.
Well, that's why I like these 27, 28-year-old running backs, because that's what they do to them.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we maybe you sign the guy as a free agent, or he's on the last year of his deal, or even a guy like Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor signed for 2026, but there's not a lot of guaranteed money there. That's a regime that needs to win now. They're going to run him, and they're sitting there in July right now. They're like, all right, we've got Daniel Jones, we've got Anthony Richardson. Let's give the ball to Jonathan Taylor 400 times this year.
Yep, that's exactly what they're going to do. You're 100% right. They have no choice, otherwise they're going to get fired. They might as well.
Yeah.
It's funny how the interests of the current regime kind of don't line up with the long-term success sometimes, and teams pay for it. So it's truly bizarre. Kimmy says shortens my life by 5 minutes. I'm gonna eat 5 a day. The sooner I'm dead, the better.
It's comment of the day right there. That was amazing.
There you go. And Cassandra says I haven't eaten a hot dog since I was 13. So same boat as Mike here. I I don't know. I love hot dogs too much. I can't not eat hot dogs. And here's my pushback to like that stat, which I assume is true in a vacuum, but and we're up in 2 picks. I feel like the medical technology is going to improve a lot, and that might be moot by the time, in 30, 40, 50, 60 years, whatever. Um, it just it may not be applicable,
Yeah, that's certainly true. Yep, it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. All right. So you were up in 2 picks. So who are you thinking here?
Well, if it's still too early to take another quarterback, then not C.J. Stroud. Um, but
We can,
I,
yeah, we
I
can
know
take.
you don't love C.J. Stroud, but I just think he's kind of getting pushed on the board based uh, off of the season last year. But they improved that offensive line a lot. They brought in some younger, healthier receivers. Do you want a different position here, though?
No, I'm fine with Stroud. This is your pick, so
Yeah,
whenever you
let's
want.
take Stroud here. I just think he's got a chance to really bounce back. New offensive coordinator. They, plugged a lot of holes, not just with the draft, but with some decent bets on short term veterans in free agency. And I love Jaden Higgins and even Jalen Noel. He can get open. He just has to catch the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. What a shame that we didn't get Higgins. That would have been a nice stacking piece for Stroud. I suppose we could take Noel later, or Christian Kirk if you want. Not that I want to, but there was reports saying that Christian Kirk has been a nice safety blanket for Stroud, which I kind of like laughed. It's kind of like typical July
Yeah.
like puff piece that we hear about a player.
Yeah, is
So
Christian Kirk like tucking him in, and is he tucking CJ Stroud into bed at night? That's because you're right, like you said, it's July.
Yes, that would be a weird turn of events there in Houston. Although we have seen stuff like that before, but it hasn't been quite reported. And yeah, we talked about a quarterback earlier who engaged in such details, in such things like that. Anyway, I'm up. So I'm always going to start Guerrero here, but Cassandra made fun of me, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do that here. We do need a receiver. Oh no, we don't. We have 5. I think we can get Guerrero on the way back. I think Dobbins is sort of interesting. And well, maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to take. You know what? I'm going to take Ray Davis, and see if I just want to see if Guerrero makes it back to us. Even at like 1403, just because I keep taking him around 12, I just don't know if he's going to make it back to us. Would you have taken Dobbins there, or Ray Davis, or Guerrero? What do you think?
I personally, so I like Dobbins because he's a starter. He's got no feet left, though. I mean, the guy gets hurt every day. He tears his Achilles every time he steps on the field. I love Guerrero. We've talked about that on the show before. Um, I don't love Ray Davis because of his situation. He's talented. He can catch the ball. That team just has an annoying role for Ty Johnson. They use Ty Johnson in the 2-minute offense, and he ends up with a lot of catches. And then Josh Allen, of course, with the rushing touchdowns. So, I love James Cook. I feel like if James Cook was on a different team, he could be a first round caliber redraft running back. But, you look, I think he had 38 targets all of last year because of Ty Johnson. His touchdowns jumped to 16, which is great. But the year before, he had 2. And that was because of Josh Allen. So I like Ray Davis. I think that the upside is a little bit capped by the annoying role Ty Johnson has and Josh Allen's rushing capabilities.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Yeah, I like Guerrero more than Davis. I just think that I just want to see if Guerrero comes back to us at 13-10. I've taken Guerrero in so many drafts. He is finally surpassed Higbee as my most drafted player. For a long time, Higbee was my number 1 drafted player. Now it's finally Guerrero. It was like 73% to 72%. So I've taken him so often in round 12 because like round 12 comes around, I'm like Guerrero, like instantly. I just want to see where he falls, and like if he falls to 13-10, maybe it's something to reconsider. But not that I like Ray Davis more or anything. I just think that there's a chance that he does get back to us. So, and we do need a third quarterback at some point as well. So, the guy I like is Cam Ward. I don't know if he's going to fall to us either. So we'll see what happens. Dobbins, by the way, went 12-10. Let's see. Najee Harris eye injury in a fireworks accident. Did you hear about that?
Yeah,
And
it sounds like it's superficial.
yeah,
They said that it's supposedly not anything too bad. I'm visualizing what that looks like a superficial. I mean, I had a hockey injury in my eye, but I mean, a superficial firework injury. That's like, did the firework explode in his face and he's just
yeah,
walked it off and he's like, no big deal. So I guess we'll see what happens with that.
yeah. That was weird. Um, like before we saw any details, I'm like, oh my god, is Hampton going to go like first round now? Um, but no, yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to affect them, but I guess you never know. And my question is, have the players not learned from Jason Pierre-Paul? You
I
know,
know. Yeah.
it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not just some regular person. You make a living doing this, and you're just endangering your livelihood. Just by playing with fireworks. Like, I'm not a fireworks fan anyway. I don't know how you feel about fireworks, but I find them annoying and and just unappealing. Like, it's just like colors and loud noises. I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. I mean, look, if you like fireworks, then I'm not gonna think negatively of you or anyone else. Like, I just like, you can like it. It could be your thing. To me, it just like, I don't get it. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, cool, you know. I'm sure like my kids, when they're old enough to stay up and see the fireworks, I'm sure they'll like it. But for me now, as an adult, I'm just like, I'd rather not deal with the noises at night.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. As an adult, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
My kids, I take them, and that ends up being one of the most annoying nights of the year. I loved it when I had one kid. Now that I have three, it's like, oh god, all three of these. My kids are 6, 3, and 1. So having them all up till 10 o'clock at night because you can't watch fireworks earlier than that
hmm
ends up making for a little bit of a messy night.
yeah,
So yeah, and I don't shoot them off myself because I don't want to, blow my other eye out with my
yeah,
head.
right. I've never touched them. I have no interest at all. Um, Glad to hear we're on the same page with that.
And if
Um,
you're a running back, just wait till you're about 31 years old. Then you can play with fireworks all you want.
exactly right. Yeah, what are you doing? I guess he did sign the his contract, so he got his guarantee money. All right, you're up on the clock. I should have gone to this earlier. Who are you taking here?
Isaac Guerrero is your top rostered player in best ball. Isaac Guerrero was my top rostered player in my 50 dynasty leagues. It's Isaac Guerrero. I would
Yeah,
have taken him in the last round.
yeah. Look at that. We got him back at 13-10. That is, it's truly amazing. I don't think like we'd have to wait 4 more picks for him. And these guys, let's look at their running back situation. This guy only has 3 running backs. This guy only has 2. So we couldn't. I don't think we could wait till 14:03. So we had the last laugh with Cassandra here because Cassandra bullied me into not taking Grenda. I'm just kidding, of course. So I took Ray Davis instead. And then we ended up with Guerrero anyway in the 13th round. So maybe lesson learned that I don't have to take Guerrero in the 12th round. I could just wait till the 13th round now. So
Yeah, and that's 13-10.
yeah,
That's the end of the 13th round.
it is staggering how late he's going given his upside. It's he could be a league winner easily.
Yeah.
Just McCaffrey goes down, it's Guerrero time. There's no Mason, there's no Mitchell. If unless you think Jordan James is going to take the role, which I don't. Jalen Wright, I like Jalen Wright. So we have 5 running backs, 5 receivers, 2 quarterbacks, only 1 tight end. I'm up in the next pick. Let's take a look. We could take if we had Daniels, I'd like Ertz. There's Darnold, not a big fan of that. Algier is looking like the favorites there. There's McMillan, Tillman, Besh, the Getz. I feel like we could take a receiver in the next round. What is this? Round 14. Yeah, a little too early for those guys. Tight end Kyle Pitts. Strange. We don't have. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm going to go with Algier. I think he's just the best player available. Another potential league winner in Algier. If Bijan goes down, Algier is suddenly going to go like round 3. So who would anyone stand out to you as who you would take it instead?
No, in this spot, I like Guerrero. I like Jalen Wright, who got picked, and
Yeah,
then Algier. And we went over my redraft chart from last week. And again, that's setting lineups. So your roster construction is a lot different. But I have those guys in the 9th round. And, again, I have those guys in the 9th round because you're not going to see 25 quarterbacks get picked in the league where you
right.
set your lineup. But like you mentioned, if their starters get hurt, they have a chance to win you your league. And it's July.
Mm-hmm.
It's we were talking about Scott Fishbowl earlier. And Scott Fishbowl, one of my strategies every year is to draft as many backup running backs as I can. And I can't tell you how many times we get to the end of August or the beginning of September and waivers haven't even run yet. And I'm sitting there looking at a couple of guys who I drafted, in the 18th, 19th, 20th round who are now starters. I had Kyron Williams. I almost won Scott Fishbowl a couple of years ago. I think he was my last pick.
Wow.
In the 22nd round, he was my pick. And I mean, I didn't even have to wait. He was the starter week 1, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's an amazing pick. Is anyone else stand out to you as like late round guy you took who may have like almost won you that Scott Fishbowl or whatever?
Well, and the other guy, Ray from NFL Rough Draft, one year he actually, and there are thousands of people in this tournament, he finished in second place, and he was the top analyst that year. A fan ended up winning it. He finished in second place instead of first place. There was a Thursday, it was a Thursday or a Saturday night game. It might have been a Saturday night game. Raiders and Dolphins. And Josh Jacobs dove down at the 1 yard line to try to run the clock out.
Oh my God.
They had the lead. He would have won all of Scott Fishbowl if not for that. And then on top of that, the game kind of gained a little bit of infamy. The Dolphins got the ball back. Pass rusher plays for the Jaguars now. He's a big college player. I can't remember his name right now. I played for LSU. Anyway, can't remember his name. But he had a face mask on Ryan Fitzpatrick, threw up a Hail Mary, and ended up winning the game for the Dolphins. So Raiders didn't even win that game, but it cost Josh Jacobs cost my buddy the Scott Fishbowl championship that year by diving down at the 1 yard line to try to run the clock out.
That's crazy. Do you remember how he got to the championship? Like what player he drafted? Like obviously you have to hit on some late round guys to get there.
Arden Key was the guy with the face mask, by the way.
Okay.
But I don't remember off the top of my head. I remember that was the year where Alvin Kamara had like 6 touchdowns on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. He didn't even have Alvin Kamara in the championship round. And, somehow still almost won. A guy with Alvin Kamara finished in first. But, yeah, I mean, going way back, I remember Stephen Davis was a big pick for us way back in the day. He almost won us. ESPN used to have like a first place overall prize. Was probably not much, but I think we were like 15 years old. Antonio Brown early in his career was a player we had a lot of in our dynasty leagues.
Okay, you're up in 2 picks, by the way. We have a roster breakdown. We have 2 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 5 receivers, 1 tight end.
Let me think about this one for a second.
Okay, Rico Doodle just goes positive bullying. Yeah, Methaplectic, hate fireworks. Yeah, glad to hear you're on team anti firework here. Daniel Jones goes. We're up.
All right. You know what? I know we've got Ibuka. Can we take a shot here on Cade Otton? Because I feel like if one of those 2 guys ends up being big in that passing game, it would really help. I know it's 2 guys from the same team.
Oh, that's fine. That's definitely, you can stack there for sure. So I should have checked buys. Okay, yeah, 11 and 9, we're good. Okay, yeah, we got Cade Otton, so that is our second tight end. So I'm gonna be on the clock here. I'm considering Richardson as our third quarterback. I like to have 3 quarterbacks. It's if you take a guy early like Hurts, I think it's okay to only have 2, but I just think that like if you have a third quarterback, it should be one who can potentially outscore everyone, and that would be Richardson. But then again, there are some good players otherwise that I'm considering too, and there's a chance that Richardson falls to 17-10 anyway. So I think I'd rather go the other route and to take a high upside receiver. Because we have 5 receivers. I like to have 6. Obviously, we have 2 studs at the top. Adunze, I think, could be a stud, but we don't know. Ibuka, same thing. Then Harris is more of a wild card. I'd rather have like one more potential, like just high upside play at receiver. So There's a couple of guys that I have in mind here. Let's see. It's gonna be Alec Pearson and Dante Thornton. So Miles Sanders goes. I think that I would like to potentially high roll a stacking a combination with Pierce and Richardson if Richardson falls to us in the 17th round, and really maybe even the 18th round, because I think the two guys after us are full at quarterback. I think so. I'm going to go with Pierce, who has just game breaking potential. I brought up these stats last week, or sorry, yesterday. Just look at like 4 games last year. He had 24 and a 16 is pretty good too. Then he had a 25, he had an 18 and a 27. Like, this is what you want out of your 16th round receiver who could, with those results, he could bypass both Brown and Neighbors in those weeks. So he's not some like floor guy. You know, I'm looking at like DeAndre Hopkins here. He's going to catch like 3 passes for 30 yards every week. Or McMillan, who's the 4th receiver on the team, like third if Godwin's not available, but still same sort of situation. I think Pierce just has great upside. So who would you have taken with my pick?
Yeah, I like Pierce. I think that's a great pick for the reasons you mentioned. You know, Richardson would chuck that ball up to him a lot, and he's really good at, you know, he's first of all, he's fast, but he's really good with some of those down the field contested catches. I like Noel there too a little bit. I feel like if he carves out a role for himself, we've got Stroud. You know, going back a couple of years, thinking about what Tank Dell did as a rookie there, it's hard not to sort of imagine those same type of games from Noel. But I think Pierce makes a lot of sense right there.
Yeah, maybe we can get Noel on the way back. That would be nice. Like, if Richardson's off the board or something or whatever, we can get Noel or something. He just doesn't feel like. What's his ADP right now? Yeah, it's 193, so he could get back to us potentially. We had another comments I saw. Brandon says every receiver is healthy till Slowick, till the 150-pound guy to goal line block is the 6th offensive lineman.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's gone now, though. He's gone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Got a feeling the Bills and Ravens offenses aren't as efficient this year. I'll just know why. I think that I like those two teams a lot. And like Cassandra called them tube steaks on a bun and start eating them again. It's all about perception. That's true. All right. So we had some picks here. Go. No Noel yet. No Richardson yet. No Thornton yet. So maybe we'll get one of those guys back to us, or even at 1803. It's definitely possible. So.
And you said both of the guys, the player picking in 11 and 12, they both have 3 quarterbacks already?
Well, this guy's 2 and this guy's 3. So, so maybe this guy might take a quarterback, maybe. But he has Goff and Daniels. Like, that is, he could potentially be like, I'm done at quarterback, you know?
Yeah.
The guy with 3, I assume he wouldn't take a 4th.
Right. Yeah.
Unless he thinks like Richardson's insane value at 17-12, which I wouldn't blame him for thinking that. So it is certainly possible that Richardson goes at 17-11 or 12 or 18-1, 18-2, but I think it's like worth the risk if one of the other guys is there and we can maybe pass on him and get him at 18-3. But we'll see if he even makes it to us in the first place. So Tyler Shuck just went 17-3. I don't get how you draft Shuck over Richardson, just given the low upside with Shuck.
Yeah, I still can't believe Tyler Shuck got picked in the 2nd round. That was just something that I thought was a media creation. I didn't think it was going to happen, and I was wrong.
Yeah, I thought so too at first, and then I don't know if it's Charlie reporting or someone I trusted reported that like it was legit, and I was like, okay. I think I moved them up in my mock draft, but that was I don't know. Like this guy was not a good quarterback prospect for 6 years in college, and like suddenly his 7th year, it's like, oh, he's good again. It's like, okay, sure if you say so. I don't know.
I knew he was going to go in the 2nd or 3rd round, but I held off. I think he was like 101 in our rankings until the very last week. I was not willing to move him much higher than that.
Yeah, I had him in the 1st round of my 2022 NFL mock draft when I did it in 2020.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was probably still at Oregon back
Yeah,
then.
yeah, that's when he was still at Oregon. Yeah, um, but he had a lot of upside, and like that's how good he was. But like that's how old he was too. Like in
Yep.
2020, I was putting him in a mock draft, and he goes second round of the 2025 NFL draft, which is insane.
Speaking of that, Tyler Van Dyke is still in college. He's SMU's quarterback this year.
Wow.
That guy, he's been there for a long time as well.
Yeah, that's insane. I didn't realize that. That's crazy. We're up in one pick, by the way. You're up on the clock. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I like Noel. I mean, I like Richardson too, but you mentioned you have two guys with five total quarterbacks. It's
Yep.
probably only one spot that he could go. We have CJ Stroud. Noel's got a chance to actually just be, a consistent performer, not just like
Mhm.
a sporadic, guy who hits the lineup. So I like Noel here.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a fan. Let's take him. Um, and yeah, let's hope Richardson gets back to us at 1803. That'd be nice. I think you have to high roll in these drafts, like hope for the best and wait for guys. I did a draft with a couple of people who were like, oh, there is saying like, oh, you have to get your guy here. Like you can't wait. Like you have to get your guy. I think that like maybe that's the case in a regular fantasy draft, but in best ball, I think that you need to try to get the best team possible. And to do that, like, yeah, sometimes it's not going to work out. That's why you can just do another draft. You can do another draft that very second. If you just don't like your draft, you can sign up for another one and do two at a time. And just you have to just try to keep getting the best player possible or the best team possible, because especially in this $20 league, you go to the championship in week 17, you're going against 1,000 people. So you need to and if you finish in the bottom half, you get $1,000, which is nice, but like you're trying to get the 2 million for first or the million to second, like that's what you're trying to do. And you want to have the best team that can get you there. And I think that just waiting on guys, like realistically, obviously you're not going to get like neighbors in the fourth round, but like realistically wait on guys that you can get maybe a round later. So hopefully this guy didn't take get in. Okay, we got there
There
we
you go.
go. It worked out. We got Richardson in the 18th round, which is crazy. Thornton, by the way, is there too. I like him a lot, but we're gonna go Richardson um, to give ourselves like a high upside third quarterback who can maybe outscore Hurts sometimes if he's even the starter. Obviously, we don't know, but
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to go to him at some point. Like Daniel Jones, I don't think is going to hold down the fort for the whole season.
That's a fantastic gamble in the 18th round in
Yeah,
July.
yeah,
And what intrigues me about, and there goes Thornton, but what
Mhm.
intrigues me about these last few rounds is there are players that are going to make a big difference that are on the board that are not getting drafted in these leagues. And
hmm
we just don't know who they are yet. And we'll have a better idea who they are in, about a month. We
yeah,
don't have to wait for the season to start, but once camp gets rolling, you get a week or two into it, there are guys who are going to emerge. There are going to be guys who, are the primary handcuff for a starter that just aren't projected to be right now. Undrafted rookies who aren't the big undrafted rookies that everybody's talking about right now. So it's really interesting to think like one of these picks here could end up being the guy who ends up winning the league. Just we have
oh
no.
yeah, oh yeah, 100%. I mean, player goes down, like Jonathan Taylor goes down, Giddens at 17-11 is gonna look great. Um, that's just like one of many examples. Keenan Allen, 1706, he hasn't signed yet. Like, what if he signs on a team where he looks like to have a significant role? Like
Yeah.
he's gonna look very favorable. You can do that with a bunch of guys here. And yeah, the ADPs are going to change drastically as we go on. So yeah, I totally agree with that. It's gonna be interesting to see how that happens. And I mentioned like the not drafting too much in the next 2 weeks is because next week on Tuesday we're gonna do a preview for the British Open. And by the way, congrats to anyone who had Nico Echeverria 150 to 1 today, and also Jake Knapp 100 to 1 today to be the first round leader. We bet both of them, which is pretty nuts. Unfortunately, there was a 4-man dead heat. so we didn't get the full payout, but still, it was nice. But yeah, I mean, next week is going to be the British Open, so we're going to have Nuggets and Butters on the show on Tuesday. I assume. Oh, I haven't really asked them yet, but Nuggets didn't get back to me. Butters did. He thinks he will be on the show. Nuggets, I'm not sure about. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, I think Kenny and I are going to have a topic. We weren't prepared at all last night. We're going to have a topic for something. And then we'll see on Thursday. I don't know what we're going to do if you can come on Thursday next week. Maybe we'll do some drafts then or do something else. And then Saturday's Tom. And then the week after, I'm going to Las Vegas. So I'm only going to do a show on Saturday we're going to do a show on Tuesday that week and also Saturday. Because I'll be traveling Wednesday and on Thursday I have some meetings in Vegas. So I won't be able to do shows on Wednesday and Thursday of that week. But when we come back, we'll get back to this and do other things with training camp going. So that's why I said from earlier, for you guys are wondering like why we're not going to do shows or not going to do too many best ball drafts in the next 2 weeks. So let's see. Patrick says, random question, Walt, but any Switch games you'd recommend? Almost 100% both on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and looking for new suggestions. Patrick, have you played Ori? Ori and the Blind Forest, and there's another Ori. I don't know what it's called. Ori and the Blind Forest is the first one. It is an amazing game. One of the best soundtracks any game I've ever played. It's a tearjerker game, man. It's like I normally I don't like cry for anything. I made like almost in tears like a couple times in that game, and it is a masterpiece. It's kind of like Metroid. If you played Metroid from back in the day, it's a lot like that, where like it's a maze sort of thing and you have to go different ways and you get abilities and stuff like that. But it's just, man, it's a beautiful game. It's so good. So I would recommend that. I'll have to think about it some more. I have a bunch of Switch games I haven't played. I mean, I could tell you Mario Golf. Like I have fun doing that. Yeah, I have a bunch of Switch games, but like usually it's like my son like wants to watch me play Resident Evil, like the remake of the original. So I do that with him. He's too scared to play by himself play on his own. And I guess like I don't know, maybe I'm a bad parent for showing a 3-year-old Resident Evil, but I feel like it's more jump. It's not Silent Hill, which is just horrifying. It's more jump scares. And he doesn't seem like scared. He's never had nightmares about zombies, so I think it's okay. But anyway, you're up in 2 picks, so I'll have to think about some more, Patrick, and I might next show when you're on, I might have some recommendations too. But if you haven't played Ori and the Blind Forest, definitely play that game. And there's a sequel to it too. I have the sequel, I just haven't gotten around to it because I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now. All right, you're up. We have 3 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 7 receivers, and 2 tight ends. So who do you like?
Okay. Roster construction, do you prefer a running back or a receiver here?
Best player available is fine. Doesn't matter.
Let's go Ty Felton. Ty Felton.
Okay. Wow. Can you talk to us about Ty Felton?
Yeah, Ty Felton, I thought should have been. He was a 3rd-round pick. He just slipped out of the top 100. I think he was 102. Led the Big Ten in receiving last year for Maryland. This guy who I think is sort of being undervalued. I saw Naylor just got picked a little bit earlier. I think Felton's going to overtake him pretty early on, and he's going to have the opportunity to do that because he'll be on the field, I would imagine, with Jordan Addison being suspended for 1 to 3 games. His court case is coming up for that speeding issue that he had last training camp, and I just think that talent wins at receiver. Of course, Jefferson is the guy there. Jordan Addison's very talented, but I just think that Felton could have some big games. And, I thought he should have been a lock 3rd-round pick instead of, a guy who just barely scraped into the 3rd round. So, and it's also, the other thing is Ty Felton's not going to get drafted in all of these leagues.
Right.
Going to be drafted in a few of them. So if you happen to have him and he's not even in half of the other leagues, that's going to give you an advantage if he's good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good recommendation. You gave him to me before. I've taken Felton whenever I've drafted McCarthy as a late round stacking option. So I'm a fan there. I took Tyler Higbee because we needed a third tight end, and I love Higbee. I drafted him 72% of drafts I've done because like he's going 19th or 20th round, mostly by me. And he's a guy that Stafford likes to depend on, and he had a great playoff 2 playoff performances when he came back. He's healthy now. So why not take Higby in the 20th round, 19th, 20th round? So we'll see where. So I signed us up for the second draft. In this draft, I will be doing the odd rounds. You'll be doing the even rounds.
Sounds good.
Actually, I've Ori on the Xbox, really good. Sad at the start. Yeah, very Bambi type sadness at the start. It is you're like, wow, like you're really gonna start us off like that right away. And then the scene, I don't know. There's like a secret scene where you can see the girl who the girl creature who raised you, and she's like, you go through her whole life with her dad, and like you see the dad pass away, and like I was like in tears there because like just when I was playing it, my daughter was like recently born, and I was just like thinking about like me and my daughter, like my daughter growing up, and like at the end you see the dad like just like not doing anything. He's just like just sitting and just not being able to move, and then he passes away, and I was like, oh my god, like what are you doing to me? Like why am I so sad about like bear type creatures, like these things that look like bear or pandas, and I'm I'm just like losing it over this.
Hey, don't be sad about that. Remember the hot dog technology that's coming out in
That's
the next 30, 40 years.
oh yeah, that's true. We're pick 9 here. Yeah, a Google researcher actually said that we're going to live to 150 or something.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not. It might have been even more. Maybe been like 250. I'm not sure, but I read that like 2 years ago or whatever. Which I mean, technology changes a lot. Like it's changed a lot in the past 20, 30 years. So we'll see. So we have 30 seconds left until this draft starts, and we have the 9 picks. So we have a little bit of time to quickly review this team. So we have Jalen Hurts and CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson as a quarterback. So we paired Hurts with Brown. We have Neighbors and Brown at receiver with Odunze, Igbuka Harris, Pierce, Noel, and Felton. So I really like our receiving core. Very top heavy, good sleepers. Running backs, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, Judkins. There is some, maybe injury potential there, but I think these guys are pretty good. And we have some late round guys who have immense potential: Davis, Gorendo, Algier. 6 running backs. I think the minimum 6. So I like our guys. And then at tight end we have Tyler Warren, Kate Otten, and then Tyler Higbee. So not the best tight ends, but good ones, I think. Warren has immense potential. I like what you said, that he potentially could get goal line carries. Otten, he could be, if Godwin's out, he could be a big producer. And then Higbee, of course, who's I always draft. So what do you think about this team before we start this one?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. We drafted it, so we should like it.
Right.
You mentioned a little bit weak at tight end, but if Tyler Warren, I mean, say he has 2 rushing touchdowns this year, that's huge at tight end.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you get a tight end who catches 8 touchdowns, and he has the Travis Kelce special or the Mark Andrews quarterback sneak that he used to do.
Mhm.
And gets another 2 touchdowns from that. That's right off the bat. That's salvaging the position.
Yeah. What if he's Taysom Hill, except he can play tight end, like for real?
Yeah.
That would be. I mean, that would be huge. I definitely like Tyler Warren. He's one of the tight ends I've targeted in like the middle rounds. Usually like Hawkinson or Mark Andrews. I've taken Likely in a couple times recently, and then and then Warren is certainly the other one. I was drafting Njoku a bit as well, but I thought, you know what, as like a player in a bad offense, like if you tell me Flacco's going to start all year, then I'm on board. But that may not be the case. So you get Flacco could be benched. Do we take Neighbors again? I know it's my decision. Like it's gonna be too. I think it's gonna be too similar, right? Like we should probably diversify.
Hey, it's your pick. It's your pick.
That's true. You know what? Let's see what a McCaffrey draft looks like. Are you on board with that? Do you want to see what a
I like
McCaffrey?
McCaffrey. I'm thinking about moving McCaffrey ahead of Gibbs. I know that that's very contrarian,
Okay.
um, but everybody's just ignoring David Montgomery and oh, look what Jahmyr Gibbs did down the stretch. Yeah, David Montgomery was injured down the stretch and didn't play.
Hmm.
I mean, what if Sam Laporta bounces back a little bit? It's going to take some of those shorter targets.
Yeah.
You know, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a great player. He's going to have, 85, 90 targets. And so that's going to guarantee that he's a top 6 running back. But if Christian McCaffrey is healthy, he's going to have 85, 90 targets as well, on top of getting as much of the workload on the ground as he could possibly handle. I think he's 29 now. I
Hmm.
mean, they're going to run him into the ground. There's no reason not to.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we'll see if he holds up. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
what 3 of the past 5 years he hasn't finished the season,
Yeah.
but the other 2 seasons he's been great. So I think that in a best ball type draft where you're going for upside, I think it makes sense to take McCaffrey. If this is a regular league like your home league where you care more about winning for pride than money, I think that we probably don't want McCaffrey. But when you're trying to have the best team possible, I think it makes sense to go McCaffrey as well. So I was kind of hoping that Neighbors would fall back to us, like when Thomas went 110, and that the guy drafting 11th, I think he timed out. And Neighbors just happened to be the best player available. So we'll see who we get on the way back. It'll be your pick. So, yeah, but yeah, I mean, no real surprises, I suppose, in the first round so far. No Genty, I guess, but Genty just went. And we're up in 2 picks, so let's see who's available. So you get to kind of consider who you want. So yeah, Henry Chan, London, Bowers, McConkey, Brown is the top guys according to ADP. And we'll see. I think this 11th guy is timing out. Let's see if he goes to the end. Feels like that. I don't get these people just sign up for drafts and don't show up. It's like like okay, you wasted $20.
Yeah.
So he takes Henry. Henry's gone. And we need one more pick now.
Okay. Let's see what we get here.
Rashi Rice went. Okay, so you're up.
I don't know how you take Rashi Rice over AJ Brown. No, I know we just drafted AJ Brown. Again, he's a first round caliber player. He's
Yeah.
going in the second round. I love Drake London. With Penix at the end of last year, I can't take him over AJ Brown though.
Yeah, same thing. All right, so we're going Brown.
Yeah, I like the running backs there too, but we started with McCaffrey. I don't really like starting running back. That's a good way to sort of destroy your team right off the bat. You kind of have to pick one and hope he stays healthy.
I agree with that. Tyreek Hill 205. That is the earliest I've ever seen him in this year. Now, obviously, last year is going like 101 or 102. After McCaffrey, the McCaffrey news, at least. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, Rashi Rice 203. I like Rice. It feels like everyone's down on Rice. I feel like I defend Rice on every show I do. But 203 is just so early for that. I don't quite get it.
I mean, what would be the hope for Rashi? Right, he's not going to outperform AJ Brown, or at least he's not a good bet to outperform AJ Brown. I don't mind Rice even at the top of round 3, but I mean, what did AJ Brown do to the fantasy community? I mean, he was great last year. He was a first round. He was going 108, 109, 110. And now here he is consistently in the second round because of the good rookie wide receivers.
I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Yeah, nothing's changed. He was going first round last year. Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's disrespect of Jalen Hurts. Feels like no one likes Hurts at all. And I keep seeing like top 10 quarterback lists on Twitter, and they all exclude Jalen Hurts. And I'm like, okay, sure. Just had like 2 amazing performances in Super Bowls, and I guess you could say the same thing about Eli Manning. But like, I mean, Hurts just he posts amazing numbers, and he's like, yeah, I mean, he's not a perfect quarterback, but he's really good. And Brown has performed amazingly with him, so I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned the Super Bowl performances. You could make the argument if Jalen Hurts retired right now, he'd be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It'd be borderline because he's only played. I think this is only his 5th year, but
Mhm.
2 Super Bowls, 2 really good performances in those Super Bowls. Won one of them, and he's not in any top 10 quarterback list. I didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to be as good as he is. I'll fully admit that. When I heard
Yeah.
he was going in the second round of the NFL draft, I thought, whoa, that's a reach,
Yeah.
but I was wrong, and I'm very happy to admit that.
Hey, I was even worse. I did a video saying that was the worst draft pick in NFL history, because they just gave Carson Wentz this insane contract, and then and then they took Hurts in the second round, a guy who was benched for Tua in college and then had to go elsewhere.
And he
Um,
looked bad. He
yeah,
looked the first year he looked bad. The second year they made the playoffs and he still didn't look good. They didn't beat anybody to get to the playoffs that year. And
yeah.
then the last couple of years have been a different story.
It's crazy how much he's improved and beaten expectations. But really, and this is like the Eagles made a terrible move in that draft, but or that offseason, and it wasn't drafting Hurts, so it was giving Wentz that contract. So
Yeah.
I was writing in for a certain way, but not really. All right, so Mike Evans goes. We have Lamar Jackson. I don't know. Maybe he falls those. Marvin Harrison Jr., Terry McLaurin, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm going to start Jackson Smith and Jigba. I love Jigba. We didn't take him last draft, so I'm inclined to take him here. We can also try to get McLaurin Daniels stack, but we can also get Hurts too. I mean, obviously it depends what you want to do. So I'm going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba. Who would you have taken at 309?
I think I would have taken Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm sort of I don't like to be the first or even the second to take a quarterback. I'm not. I don't typically draft quarterbacks in the third round,
Mhm.
especially this year. I just feel like there's so much potential for guys who are quarterback 11, quarterback 12, quarterback 13, quarterback 14 to finish as quarterback 1.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield was quarterback 3 last year. He goes much later than this.
Mhm.
We talked about Drake May earlier in the show, who's got a chance to take a leap forward. Dak Prescott has been quarterback 1 overall in the past. Now he's got no running game, and he's got George Pickens to help and with that passing game. They should throw the ball a lot. So I would have taken Smith and Jigba there as well. I like the value on him.
Yeah, there are a bunch of guys who have potential late, and we had a question last night from John Sanders who asked who could be this year's Jaden Daniels, not as rookie quarterback who's amazing, but rather late round quarterback who emerges as a top 3 or top 5 fantasy quarterback. Who would do you have anyone in mind as to who could do that?
Drake May is my guy this year. I mentioned last week he had over 400 yards rushing last year, and he played 13 games, but essentially that was in 10 games. He had over 400 yards rushing. So, you look at the potential to develop as a passer as well. Everybody's talking about Bo Nix. Drake May was only 20 years old last year. So he's someone I could, and same with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is great. Jaden Daniels is a lot older than Drake May. He could take the step forward. Of course, Caleb Williams is going to be a popular answer. But again, I just mentioned, Dak Prescott could be that guy. You've talked on the show about Brock Purdy and his schedule. If he's throwing the ball more, he could be that guy. Who knows?
You're
I
up.
love Marvin Harrison here. I'm all in on Marvin Harrison this year.
Yeah.
Fourth round. I know he only had about 800 yards receiving last year. He's a candidate to take a major jump forward. Sign me up for 4th round Marvin Harrison all day.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is a guy who's not dead zone. We talked about potentially getting a legit 3rd round guy in the 4th round, and Harrison definitely fits the bill. So I love this start. Look at this receiving core: Brown, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Harrison Jr. That's awesome. And I do expect Harrison to make a jump forward this year. He 885 and 8 is not bad. It just looks bad compared to Neighbors and McConkey and Thomas. But I mean, that's those are good numbers for rookie. So I don't know. I think that with more chemistry with Murray, I feel like he could just have a great second year. So,
yeah, I mean, think about what he was projected to be.
Mm-hmm.
If he takes a leap forward this year, I mean, you're talking about a guy who might be mentioned in the same breath as Chase, Jefferson, Lamb, and Neighbors next year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100%. If McCaffrey holds up, this team's gonna be awesome. I
Yeah.
think there's so much upside with this team. We'll see if that happens, but obviously we need if McCaffrey goes down, this team's cooked. But I don't know. I think you have to kind of swing for the fences sometimes. Yeah, I mean, heading into this season, I thought that I'd be like, okay, I'm excited to get Harrison later. Like, I was thinking fifth or sixth round just because like he disappointed so many people last year, and then he's like ADP was third round, and I was so disappointed by that. But like fourth round is definitely acceptable. I think like that's just best player available for sure there, especially considering the other Drek going in round four. And I was secretly hoping for Jalen Hurts to follow us. Because like if these first five people pass on him, then like the next three wouldn't have, and then we would have gotten Hurts. And unfortunately, he went, but that's okay. Um, by the way, in relation to the question I asked you about potential Jane Daniels is this year, I came up with three last night, and May was one of them. The other two, JJ McCarthy, just because he has rushing ability, he plays in an offense, a great coaching staff, a great supporting cast, amazing offensive line, and you think like Kevin O'Connell has turned Joshua Dobbs into like a viable quarterback, and he turned Sam Darnold into a Pro Bowler. Like McCarthy was his handpicked guy, so I think McCarthy could have a big year, and also Cam Ward. I mean, he's a hard worker. He's accurate. He's got mobility. I think that he could also have a really good season, despite just being a rookie. So those are the three guys I went with. So I'm definitely all for just like waiting and drafting those guys. But at the same time, I see like definitely upside for taking one of these top five quarterbacks because I think there's such a big gap between them and everyone else. Like I like there's insane upside with like May and McCarthy and Ward and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like there's just such a big gap. So all right, I'm up on the clock here. There's a couple of running backs, so like three decent running backs here. We can maybe get one of them later. And for me, I love Calvin Ridley. We didn't take him last time, so I'm going to take him here. And I know this is our fourth receiver, but you kind of need four really good ones. Calvin Ridley last year had the most unrealized air yards, which means like the terrible quarterbacks he had were just chucking the ball up to him, and they weren't completing passes because they were awful. But I mean, Ridley, I think people kind of forget how good he is. He was just an amazing player when he played with Matt Ryan, and now he has a good quarterback again for the first time in a while. So, well, I mean, Trevor Lawrence was there, but he was injured. I think that as long as Cam Ward is not a bust, I think Calvin really could have a really good season. So I think I suspect you would have went with Kenneth Walker, but given that we drafted him last time and there's some other good running backs, I decided to go with Ridley. What do you think about the pick?
Yeah, Ridley's good as long as he, keeps together for another year. He's getting a little bit old. I think he's 30, but that's not, for a wide receiver, that's not the end of the world. You don't really worry until they start to get to be like, 31, 32. I like Mixon and Walker right there, but you mentioned in best ball, you really need to have these high volume wide receivers, and there's still a bunch of running backs left here. So I like the pick.
Yeah.
I like Pickens too. George Pickens is another one where I think he's going to get a lot of volume, but he's obviously not going to have, you know, the issue here is Calvin Ridley doesn't have 170 target CD Lamb on his team. So
Yeah, that's true.
all right.
You're up here.
Yeah. So I like TreVeyon Henderson here. I know he's a rookie. He's so good in the passing game, and not just catching passes, but he's good in pass pro. And you might, viewers might be thinking, well, who cares if he's good in pass pro? Well, it makes a big difference in terms of getting on the field early in your career.
Yeah.
So he's someone who they're going to trust to be on the field, and he's ultra talented. I thought he was going to sneak into the first round of the actual NFL draft. Going behind RJ Harvey, that's a crime. RJ Harvey's probably not going to start. I think he's more of a change of pace back.
Yeah.
And I think he's got more upside than James Conner.
Yeah. Yeah, these older running backs, I don't. I'm not a big fan of them. It could really go downhill for them. Connor has been healthy the last couple years, but or at least like last year, I don't know if that's going to hold up. He has an injury history, and given his age, I think he could decline. Stevenson's obviously there with New England, but man, he lost his he kind of like lost his job a couple of times last year, and like sort of like because remember there was a couple occasions where they said he was going to be benched and he was benched for like one snap and then it was Gibson and then he came in and like it just it felt like the coaching staff was so frustrated with him. Now it's a different coaching staff, but I think that Stevenson is just a frustrating player in general. And there's a reason why they drafted Henderson in round 2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I love her. I love Henderson. I kind of wish he was going like a round later, like when Caleb Johnson was going. Um, just 'cause, like he's not guaranteed work, and like Caleb Johnson's not either. Um, but I don't know. I think there's definitely a lot of potential there. I just wish that like we're getting like a little bit more value with him, but he could certainly be an awesome player this year for us. Um, so Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this one pick stood out to me. I think Godwin 506, just like insanely early. I was kind of wondering if Hampton was going to go earlier tonight, just because of the news with Najee Harris. Now, obviously, it's not something that's going to last, or at least that's how it's reported. It's not going to be something that impacts him during the year, but you never know. So I thought that maybe someone would take a chance on Hampton like early round 4 or late round 3 or something, but that hasn't happened. So um, that's kind of interesting to me. I agree with you on Harvey. I'm not a fan of him. It felt like people were drafting him early before the Dobbins signing because they just saw there's no one else there, and just like I feel like that's just not a good reason to take someone. I'm just not a fan of Harvey. Like, where did you have him in your mock draft? Do you remember? Because I had him in like round 4, or I think round 4, and he went
We had
round
him in
2.
round 4 as well. Well, I had information that he has an issue that's going to shorten his career. Like if you remember, Jay Ajayi,
Hmm.
supposed to be a late first, early second round pick, fell to the 5th round. Tyjae Spears, people thought he'd be a second round pick,
Yeah.
but same thing. He's going to have a shorter career. So same deal with RJ Harvey. And I thought he'd fall to round 4. Now Sean Payton took him at the end of round 2, and everyone's like, "Oh, look, he's better than we thought." Well, maybe, but he also drafted Pat Bryant in round 3, who
Yeah.
we thought was going in the 5th round.
Yep.
The Broncos got really good value with Jade Barron in the 1st, and then after that, there were a lot of reaches.
Yeah, a lot of strange picks in that draft for them. We're up in 1 pick, so this is my pick. Um, Mahomes is there, but this guy took a quarterback, so maybe Mahomes it could be your pick in in the 8th round. We have 2 running backs, 4 receivers, so pretty much anything's open. I'm gonna start Caleb Johnson. Um, love his upside. I like Pearsall as well. And I mean, there's my guy Buka, but we took him in the last draft, so it's a tough call. We have 2 running backs with week 14 bye, so I wouldn't mind like another good one who doesn't have a week 14 bye. Um, what do you think about Pacheco? Do you like him at all?
Yeah, he's going to start.
Yeah.
I'm lower on Brashard Smith than everybody else. I think Brashard Smith is more Dexter McCluster than anything else, like a gadget guy or, you know, someone who gets a few receptions per game. I,
Okay.
I, I don't I don't think he's got the sand in his pants to be like a bell cow or I mean he's not going to be a bell cow, but like even a lead back.
Yeah, I took Pacheco. It's sort of a stacking option with Mahomes. Obviously, like you'd rather have the receiver. Oh, never mind. Mahomes went.
Ooh,
The guy who took Jackson took Mahomes. Like what? Come on, man. That is as my I said this last night. My sixth grade English teacher would say that is irresponsible. That seriously, that's what he it's what he said. He was not as a joke. He would say that all the time. That's irresponsible. Let's see, like he was trolling us. I think that's like what he said. Anyway, that is why would you take that? I don't get it. You're okay. You're up. So what are you doing here?
all right, let's see here. I don't love the board here, to be honest.
14 seconds.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go Jaden Reed. He's gonna have some big games. He's going to. He's not gonna be consistent, but he's got, I think, 1,900 yards total in the last 2 years without even playing in two receiver sets. I know they drafted Matthew Golden, but I mean, that's really sort of a Christian Watson sort of replacement, even though Watson's still there. He's got the torn ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Reed's going to be a guy who hits the lineup a bunch of weeks, and he's always good for some big games. I don't love that pick though. Truthfully, I was looking at Mahomes. Mahomes was the easy one for me if he got there, and then after that, Josh Downs was the easy two for me, and they both got picked.
Yeah, Downs would have been nice. That Mahomes was a heartbreaker. To go back to that, why would you take Mahomes 4 rounds after you take Jackson? Like, the whole point of taking a quarterback early is to not take another quarterback for a while, so you can strengthen the other areas of your team. Like, that's not a smart thing. And to follow that up with Kelsey, who's just basically done, that is just awful drafting. So. Not a good even though he started Neighbors, Henry Jackson. This guy's Mixon's pretty good too, but this guy has not had a good draft. RM Sure 12, so definitely don't do that. Unless you think like someone is insanely valuable. Like, I don't think Mahomes at 7-11 is great value because we just saw him go round 8 in the last draft. So it's not like he like, who would be a good value here at 7-11? I don't even know.
Josh Downs would have been a good value right there. He's better than, in my opinion, he's better than Zay Flowers, who he took at 402.
Yeah. I love Downs too. I'm definitely on board with that. With your pick of Jaden Reed, like, he's a good best ball player, just because like he's really frustrating in real drafts because like you have to make the decision to start him, and like he doesn't play in 3 receiver sets, so a lot of the times he's gonna have dud performances. But when he does play a lot, like he goes off. I like the pick for sure. Egbuka, by the way, goes 901. I was hoping, even though he would have been our 6th receiver, I think I would have taken him at 909. I think he would have been just way too good to pass up there. Caleb Johnson, I was going back and forth between Pacheco and Caleb Johnson. Who would you have taken there? Between if you had to choose between the two. So, Pacheco?
Yeah, I mean, Pacheco is the starter there. Like, Kareem Hunt is toast. Elijah Mitchell's interesting, because he missed last year. He had some juice before that. So he's interesting. I feel like, in my opinion, if anybody takes over during the course of the season, it might be him. But I think Pacheco's job is pretty safe. He might have a little bit of a low ceiling, but he's got a high floor. I feel like he's a pretty safe bet to be somewhere in that like running back 14 to 20 range.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that pick. And with Caleb Johnson, I don't trust Arthur Smith.
Yeah, I mean, who would? The billionaire Arthur Smith. It's kind of bizarre that an offensive coordinator is worth $3 billion. We're up now. I like Tyler Warren here, but that might be your pick too. But he may not be off the board here. Quarterback wise, we need a quarterback. Like, it's too early for Drake May. It might be. Yeah, 119. I don't know. You know what? I don't think he's going to come back to us, and I think you're going to take Warren. I think so. I'm going to reach. Maybe this is the reach, but I like Drake May, and I don't know if he's going to fall back to us. So I just want to kind of stick to what we were doing with we're talking about before with like quarterbacks who can just kind of win a league for you, and I think Drake May is there. And because I made that pick because like we do need a tight end as well, and I know you like Warren, and so. Like, I don't think May is going to be 1109. Like, and maybe that goes against what I was saying before, where we try to high roll, but like just based on all the drafting I've done, like he really doesn't fall to round 11 very often. So I don't. What do you think about the pick? Did I reach?
No, I love it, and I don't. I think that when you look at these best ball teams, you're trying to win millions of dollars. Everybody's drafting based off of ADP. There are definitely times where, you might say, like, I like Josh Downs. I would take Josh Downs in the 5th round. I
Mhm.
don't take Josh Downs in the 5th round because I know I could get him a little bit later. But, when it comes down to it, it's all about drafting the right players, right? Like, that's, and this is going to be Tyler Warren if,
Yeah. Knock on wood.
yep. But I have a thought that I want to finish. I just want to see if this is not Tyler Warren.
Let's see. It is not.
There we go. It's Justin Fields. So, yeah, I like Warren here.
Okay.
But last week I talked about this sort of mindset that I have where I feel like people who play fantasy football, we all are guilty of having this off-season brain in the summer and then this in-season brain in the during the season. And right now in that off-season brain, everyone's worried about winning their draft, like based off of ADP. Like, oh, this guy goes in the 3rd round, I got him at the end of the 4th round, or something similar to that. Or okay, I need to fill out my lineup is what a lot of people think when they're drafting in August. But
Right.
once you get down to it in the regular season, you could take this ADP and just totally throw it out the window after about week 2, right?
Yep.
After about week 2, we're going to be looking at a few of these guys drafted in rounds 7, 8, 9, and we're going to say these guys should have been getting picked in the 3rd round. I mean, it happens every single year. I mean, think 2 years ago, Puka Nacua wasn't getting drafted, or he was going in the 19th or 20th round.
Right.
After about week 2, it was pretty clear he should have been like 201 at the latest, probably a 1st-round pick. So I think it's all about just, drafting the guys that you think are going to break out and not worrying about ADP. And it really benefits you here in a best ball tournament where, some of the combinations might be unique if you reach by a round or 2 on a guy.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, for sure. We're gonna see, we're gonna do like best ball drafts for week 2 onward, week 3 onward, week 4 onward, etc. during the season, like live on the show, like once a week, and you're gonna see some crazy ADP shifts. I bring these examples up all the time. After just week 1, only 1 week last year, week 2 onward, Jaden Reed is going round 2, and Isaiah Likely is going round 4. Like it's crazy how people's perceptions change after just 1 week, and that was like such obvious fades for me, and I did so well in those drafts. I think I cashed almost every single draft. I didn't get to the championship, unfortunately, in those drafts. Obviously, it's like hard to do that, but I made the playoffs in almost every single week 2 onward draft I did, just because I faded those guys.
Yeah, well, there were guys like that, like Isaiah Likely, who have a big week 1 and their ADP gets inflated. But then you also have, after like 2 or 3 weeks, some of these guys you can kind of tell they're for real. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I used the Nacua example from when he was a rookie. It's a 5th-round pick. Nobody was expecting anything out of him. And then, after a few weeks, it was kind of clear that, oh, he's for real and he's probably going to keep doing this for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that definitely is the case. You see that from time to time. You kind of have to discern who's going to be for real and who's not. With Likely, I thought, you know, um, Mark Andrews is still there. And like, yeah, Andrews looked like he was running a quicksand to start the year, but he was coming off an injury and he was going to be healthier. Unfortunately, McCarthy just went. I was going to take him, but yeah, I thought that he was going to get healthier as the year progressed. And then with Reed, I was like, yeah, he doesn't play in 3 receiver sets, or he doesn't play 2 receiver sets, like only 3 receiver sets. So I'm like, this is just too early for him in round 2. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% correct. Like, yeah, sometimes like there are legit guys, and you have to make a judgment on them. All right, so what's our roster construction? We have 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 5 receivers, 1 tight end. Let's see here. No one really stands out. We could take Kyle Williams to pair with, but we have 5 receivers already. It's Kincaid, Loveland, Likely. Man, it sucks that McCarthy went. I'm kind of stuck on what to do a quarterback here. I would like to take a quarterback. Maybe take Stroud again. Um, yeah, maybe. I guess.
Yeah,
Let's go Stroud. Let's go Stroud. Um, yeah, Kyle Williams is interesting, but we already have 5 receivers, so and we needed a second quarterback. I don't want to be stuck with like no one else a quarterback. So, what would you have done at 11:09 there?
yeah, I like Stroud there. I like him a lot better than Jordan Love. You could have made the argument for Love since we took
Mhm.
Reed. I personally like Stroud a lot more than Love.
Yeah,
So I like that pick. Some of the tight ends are interesting there. They have some upside. You could make the argument that it's a little bit of not so much a hedge on Warren, but tight ends don't, other than like the top two or three of them, don't have big weeks every single week. So just another option to have some big weeks.
you're up here.
So, so I think you are going to hate this, but
That's fine.
I really like Dalton Kincaid here. I mean, he was so disappointing last year. If he bounces back, I mean, does he have a different buy than Warren? I think he does.
Yes, yes.
So again, he's got the upside. If he plays like he did last year, then that's an issue. But his catchable targets went down about 20% from his rookie season to last year. He was a little bit hurt last year. And again, you're picking in the middle of the draft here, and you have the potential for a guy who could shoot up and be a fourth, fifth round pick next year. I think it's worth a shot. And now we're pretty set at tight end. We have some decent upside.
Yeah, you said I'd hate it. I don't hate it. I think Kincaid has a lot of potential. He's super athletic. Last year he was a disappointment, but like you said, he was injured. He injured his PCL in the middle of the year, and before he injured his PCL, I believe he was a top 10 fantasy tight end. I think it was like tight end 9 or 10. I can't remember, but he was definitely in the top 10. So if he's healthy, then he could certainly be in the top 10. And like a lot of people wondering, like who is going to be the number one receiver. Like I think people are pushing Keon Coleman a little too hard. I've drafted him here and there, so I don't hate the idea of that. But it could just be Kincaid. The downside is that he plays with Dawson Knox, which is annoying. But like I said before the injury, he was a top 10 tight end. So I think 12th round, I think is certainly fine for that. He was what's the tight end? He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so he's tight end 15 off this board, and yet he was tight end 10 last year when he was healthy. So I think it's good value. 12th round seems a good spot to take Kincaid. So I definitely don't hate it.
Yeah, and I think he's got the potential to be one of those tight ends that actually matters. Because that's the other thing with tight ends, right? Like you can label them sort of tight end 1 through tight end 24 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but really there are only about 5 or 6 of them that matter. And
Yeah.
then tight end 7 usually ends up being about the same, within a point or so difference of like tight end 15, 16. But Kincaid's one of those guys, going into his third year, that tends to be the magic number for tight ends, third year in the league. He could possibly be, one of those guys that actually makes a difference and averages 17 points a game in a PPR league.
Yeah. I would feel better about him if he caught that pass in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
That was such a disappointing ending because I had the Bills, although I did hedge with the Chiefs, so it like mid game, so it didn't matter too much. But I was rooting for the Bills to keep going onward. But yeah, he dropped that pass, that insane throw that Josh Allen made. We had a couple comments here that haha, I love puns. So wait, what are we doing here? Let's see. Would be such a shame if just Butters, no Nuggets. Yeah, on the golf show. Yeah, it would not be the same if just one of them. They work so well together. He was reading a book on the bench. Lamar was not. We'll keep an eye on that Harrison tree. Very nice. That was that puns thing. Careful drafting, it could blow up in your face. On the other hand, he could not have his most explosive year yet. Great job, guys. Great job.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can you explain to me what Gooner USA is doing? So not only did he take Tyreek Hill and an old Mike Evans, he back to back he drafted Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield, which is crazy. Like it's not like okay if it was Burrow and Hurts, I could understand it because like you might be like wow Hurts 508, I can't pass on that. Like Mayfield 508, you could have taken him at 605 or even 708. And then he took Hawkinson Andrews back to back. I don't, and then Marvin Mims, Adam Thielen, like what is this guy doing?
10th round Adam Thielen. I think Thielen's going to be, is he going to be 36 this year? Or 30?
Something.
He might be 36 this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a team that has a sore back when it wakes up in the morning. A lot has to go right with the age curve there for that to work out for him.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I would not recommend drafting that way. Like there is zero reason to take Mayfield. Like first of all, Justin round 5, but a round after you take Burrow. Like what is the goal there? Like if you love Mayfield that much and you plan to take him 5th, 6th round, why even take Burrow? Just go Mayfield and go with a different position in round 4. So Bryce Young goes. We are up on the clock in 1 pick. Our guy came back to us. So we talked about quarterbacks who could be Jayden Daniels. We got one of them in May. We almost got a second one in McCarthy, and we're going to go with Cam Ward to finish up their quarterbacks here. I think that if you go mid round quarterbacks, I think that taking 3 in this range makes sense, just because you're looking for the highest upside, and we have 3 running backs already. We do need some more. But it's not like we only had 2 running backs and we're desperate there. So who would you have drafted at 1309?
Yeah, I love Cam Ward. I think you're right on. It's kind of what I was talking about with tight end. It's the same thing. If you're going to wait till the mid rounds, take multiple chances at having that breakout player. So I like Ward. Penix was good at the end of last year. I just think Cam Ward's got more potential. We've got Calvin Ridley, so that's a nice stack.
Yeah, for sure. I've drafted Ridley a lot, and then I can't get Ward, or I haven't drafted Ridley and I get Ward anyway. Like that's how it usually goes for me. I'm glad to have stacked those 2 players together, so that's nice. All right, you're up in 1 pick. Let's look at who's best player available here, and one name stands out.
Yep. And I know we have McCaffrey. But I know it's safe, but what if McCaffrey's great for 10 games and misses another 7 and Guerendo is good for the rest of those games? I'd still take Guerendo here. I really would.
Yeah, it only worries me that we're going to have 3 running backs with week 14 buys, but round 14 Guerendo is just way too good to pass up. When we drafted McCaffrey in the first round, I was like, okay, we're finally not going to get Guerendo. Like, why? How in the world is Guerendo available in the 14th round? That's staggering to me. I don't understand at all. And I guess I really should rethink round 12 snap Guerendo. Like now, I guess round 13 snap Guerendo. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the upside in Ramondre Stevenson. Jaden Blue. I mean, Jaden Blue is going to be the type of guy where if he plays, he's going to get about 6 or 7 touches a game. That's his purpose there. He's not a lead back.
Yeah.
So I don't mind Algier going ahead of him. That makes some sense. But yeah, I really like that pick. I know it's safe and this is best ball, but now you've got McCaffrey and Guerendo. That's almost like, except for week 14, there's one spot you just don't have to worry about all year.
Yeah, we do need like 2 more running backs who don't have week 14 buys, just to kind of balance that out a little bit. But I think otherwise the team looks great. I just worry about that. But look, it's only 1 week, so hopefully Pacheco is around to help us out that week. And
what week does the tournament start in this league?
15. So
15. Oh, okay. So there you go.
Yeah, okay. It's fun. Yeah. 15 is the first round, and I think you get $30 if you get to the first round and don't make it out. So the top 2 go to the semifinals, and I think it's either like the bottom finishers are $60, and then like I think if you're in like 2nd or 3rd place, you get like $80 in the semifinals, and that's week 16. And then the top finisher in the semifinals goes to the championship, which is 1,000 people. And I think even if you're in last place there, I think you win $1,000. We could probably just check here. We're not up for a while, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's look here. Just I don't know why I'm just like speculating what it is. I could just look here. Let's see here. That's not it. Those contest details. Okay, here it is. So yeah, round two, which is week 15. Okay, so 4th through 12th is $30. Second and third is 40. Oh, really? You only go to. I thought it was top one or top two in the semifinal or in the quarterfinals. Okay, yeah, only first place goes to the um, the semifinals, and so here, yeah, it's $100 and 150, and then if it's this is 1,021. So yeah, 701 to 1,021 is $1,000, but it just scales upward. If you're in the top 100, you get 10,000 automatically. If you're in the top 50, you get 20 grand automatically. And first place is 2 million, second place is 1 million, third place is $715,000. Um, so yeah, that's why you kind of have to like high roll to the end. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought the quarterfinals was top two. Maybe that's in some other formats. I've seen that, but I guess in a contest with 800,000 people, it just or 800,000 entries at least, it makes sense to kind of have top one in the quarterfinals or each round of the playoffs. So yeah, yeah. I mean, even the quarterfinals, like you have to outscore 11 other league winners or 11 other second place finishers, and they're all champions, and so you have to have the best team coming out of that. So,
Yeah.
um, it's tough. It's like I had a bunch of teams that made the playoffs last year, but they didn't do anything once they got there. I had like a handful of teams that went to the semifinals, but I had no teams that went to the championship last year. But last year was my first year doing this, so I feel like I feel like this year I have like a much better understanding. Plus, last year I only did four drafts before the season started. Most of my drafts were like week 2 onward, week 3 onward, week 4 onward, etc. I didn't do a lot of like preseason drafting, so um, but yeah, I've done way more leagues than I have than I did last year. So um, I think this is my 98th league, actually, 98th draft, by the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we need running backs who are not week 14 buys. Will Shipley comes to mind. There's Braylon Allen, Roshan Johnson. I guess there's some others. I think my favorite is Shipley, who just went. Chubb just went. Who else is available? Let's see. Pat Bryant, Deontay Thornton. We have 5 receivers, so we do need another receiver at some point. Yeah, I love Shipley. I think he could be a league winner if Barkley goes down. So I'm gonna take him. So who would you take in there?
I like Shipley a lot too. I think Shipley's got a much higher ceiling than that's who I was going to talk about. I was going to say if Roshan Johnson gets back, Roshan Johnson is only interesting to me because he had the goal line carries last year, and now with Ben Johnson there, it makes me wonder if he's going to kind of slide into that David Montgomery role. I mean, Remember David Montgomery with the Bears wasn't anything special. Got to Detroit with Ben Johnson, and now all of a sudden became a fantasy asset. But Will Shipley's got a much higher ceiling. Roshan Johnson's not winning anybody their league.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Swift goes down maybe, but like, I do think Shipley has much more upside. And remember, Montgomery was. Remember who went before Montgomery in Detroit's offense? It was Jamal Williams, who led the NFL in touchdowns that year. You're up here. So what are we doing?
All right. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah. Any position in particular?
Dylan Sampson's interesting. He reminds me a little bit of let's go with Dylan Sampson here. I think again it's not a great offense. It's a guy who I think could catch a lot of passes. It's going to depend what happens with Jerome Ford.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it comes down to. But I think Sampson's much more talented than Ford.
Yeah.
So, he's a guy who could carve out a role in that offense. And again, if you've got, it really doesn't matter who plays quarterback there for him. If he beats out Jerome Ford at some point during the season, he's going to get a lot of targets, I would think, because Judkins, as talented of a runner as he is, not really ready to handle passing game responsibilities.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I like Samson. I've drafted him a little bit. I said before I don't like players in bad offenses, but when you're talking round 16, like it doesn't really matter. You're just like guys down here could definitely outproduce their ADP. Whereas like the idea behind my rule is that if you're taking guys early, like Jerry Judy is a good example, like round 6, um, then like those he's not going to probably not going to outproduce his ADP. But Sampson's around 16 certainly can. And like, what if Judkins isn't that good? Like, I mean, he was awesome at Ohio State, but like, what if he's just a byproduct, a product of the system? Like, maybe Sampson is the guy. Like they took him in the 4th round. Like he might end up being their running back, or if he's just a pass catcher, he's going to at least do something. By the way, Richardson just went 16-11, much different than 18-03. Just
Yeah.
this shows you the variance from draft to draft. It's always different.
And the fact that they took Sampson in the 4th round tells me that they probably had a higher round grade on him.
Yeah,
After taking Judkins in the 2nd round, and
100%.
he's
Yeah.
the type of player where I could see him sort of getting some buzz in August. He's the type of guy that shows up and makes an impact. And like you said, maybe who knows? Maybe he ends up starting the year. I don't. I don't know about ahead of Judkins because I think they kind of play different roles, but it wouldn't shock me. And I definitely think he could have, you know, a role at some point during the season, and I think he's got the talent to make the most of it.
Yeah, I do too. I think he could be pretty good. I just don't know what Cleveland's going to do. They do have a good offensive line, not left tackle, but everything else. So there's going to be some opportunity, like, and really a team that Cleveland, and I know they have some good defensive players, but they're going to be a team that's behind a lot. So Sampson, there going to be some weeks where like Judkins does nothing, and Sampson is going to be on the field a lot, catching passes in garbage time or comeback mode. So
Well,
uh,
remember Buck Allen? Buck Allen with Joe Flacco was pretty relevant, even though he
yeah,
was a really bad running back.
yeah, yeah, that's true. He could be in that role for sure. We'll see how late Flacco start. How many games do you think Flacco starts this year?
Oh, that situation's a mess. I
It
mean,
is. It is.
you would think that they're going to have to go to one of the rookies, or if Kenny Pickett somehow looks okay by like mid-season,
Mm-hmm.
unless Flacco plays like he did down the stretch for them a few years ago. He was quarterback 2 overall the last 5 weeks of the season 2 years ago, which
It's
it's
crazy.
funny to think we sit here and try to project this in July. And that's just something that was just weird.
He was insane that year. Like
Yeah,
he was great. At least until the playoffs, he was great.
yeah.
It was unbelievable. So, and then the next year with Indianapolis, nothing like what we saw. I thought I was going to go Thornton. That sucks. Maybe we go Noel again because we
He
took.
got picked, I think, didn't he?
Maybe I guess I missed that. All right. Well, we need a 6th receiver. This is looking pretty bleak. We do have what's his face, Cam Ward. So we could take Io Manor. Not crazy about him, but I think that's the only stacking option that makes sense. And really, I mean, there's really nothing else. You want to take another running back? I don't know. Let's go Io Manor. I guess I really didn't see anything I like there. What would you have done?
Yeah, I like Wicks a little bit. We already have Jaden Reed. It's just that's the offense where go back to last year. Everybody's waiting for one guy to sort of emerge, and I don't
Mhm.
know if that's going to happen, or if it does, it might be Matthew Golden. But Wicks is kind of one of those guys. He's going to get red zone targets. He's going to catch deep balls. It's a little bit sort of in that Alec Pierce mold. He just plays a lot less.
Yeah. You're up in one pick, so kind of give you a chance to look at this.
Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd's interesting to me too.
Okay. Yeah, we could
We
definitely
have a
take it.
lot of running backs, so let's go Wicks. Let's go Wicks here, and we'll double our chances of having some of those spike weeks.
That's true. It's always one Green Bay player. You just don't know who it is.
Yep.
It's a different guy every week, and it's impossible to to kind of guess who will be in a redraft league. But in best ball, you just take these guys late and hope for the best. you know, that's how it works out. I drafted Wicks a lot last year. What did he had? How many spike weeks did he have last year? Let's look. Um, he had a 24. I wouldn't call it 11 spike weeks. So 24. He had a 13. That's it. I actually thought he had more than that.
But wasn't he a rookie last year?
In 2023 he was a rookie.
Oh, was it 2 years ago? Okay, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember he was a 7th round pick. He was late.
Yeah, I think he had more spike weeks his rookie year, and I think that's
Okay.
what Garner remembering. So, no, but I mean, look, there's no Watson. Obviously, Golden is there, but well, what if Golden is not good? Like there's always a chance that Golden doesn't start just because it doesn't perform well. So yeah, I mean, Wicks could be the downfield threat at some point. But yeah, no, I mean, like Wicks definitely has spike week potential, which is what you're looking for here in the final round. So definitely on board with that pick, and we needed a 7th receiver, so I like that pick for sure. So we drafted picks. IG time. Yeah, in Isaac Rendo time. Yeah. It was 14th round. Like how can you justify passing on Garendo in the 14th round, Cassandra? I think you have to take him there. Like that's just insanely insane value. And I said before, like when we drafted McCaffrey, I'm like, okay, we're not going to take Garendo, but like he fell to us, so we had to do it.
I mean, that's one running back spot you literally don't have to worry about except for week 14. If McCaffrey gets hurt, that sucks. But you have Garendo now, and all your other teams have Garendo, so it doesn't suck that much.
Yeah, you know what? I really hate stacking or handcuffing your own running back. It just feels like you're not playing to your upside. But if you're talking 14th round, like I guess like, with a guy like McCaffrey who has insane upside, I'm up right now. I guess what time it is. It's Tyler Higbee time. We need the third tight end. Although let's check bye weeks. 11, 7. Yeah, we're good here. It is Tyler Higbee time. So Cassandra was right. It's time to draft Garendo and Higbee. We did it twice.
There we go. And yeah, you're right about stacking handcuffs. But I think that applies more when it's like a guy who you're taking in the 5th and a guy who you're taking in like the 8th. Or remember that situation where it was like Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette with Tampa. Nobody really knew even going into the season.
Right.
You don't want to have to spend like a 6th and 7th round pick on the running backs. But if you're spending a 14th round pick with high upside to handcuff your 1st round pick, that's not too bad.
Yeah, and look, the Niners have the easiest schedule in the NFL, and frankly, the easiest schedule I've ever seen. Like, what if they blow some teams out and McCaffrey goes nuts, and then the 4th quarter Garandos comes in and like rushes for an 80-yard touchdown?
Yeah.
Like that could certainly happen. We saw that last year with the Eagles. Shipley came in the NFC Championship and ran for a long touchdown. So yeah, it could happen from time to time. You are up in 1 pick. So who is our final pick here tonight? We have we don't need any position. So
okay. Let's go with someone who's not going to get drafted in a lot of these leagues. Let's go with Jalen Lane from Washington. You look at his combine. He had such a good combine. Didn't have good stats in college, but he had no quarterback. He had no. It was just a mess. Mm-hmm. He was someone who I thought had a chance to go in the 3rd round. He fell to the 4th round. He's obviously in a good situation there with Washington. They've got McLaurin and Deebo Samuel, but we're at a point where we're drafting teams 3rd and 4th wide receivers. This is a guy who's very athletic. He's a very good route runner. Mm-hmm. And if you have him on your team, he's someone who's not getting drafted in these leagues. And he's one of those guys where a month from now, he could be getting drafted in every league. So I know that's totally off the board, but for the 20th round, I think, it's interesting to take a shot on a guy like that when, who's not getting drafted in a lot of these leagues when he's got a little bit of upside.
You know what? completely forgot about Jalen Lane. I even asked the question last night to Kenny. I was like, "Have you heard anything on Noah Brown?" And I asked that because a month ago, it was actually June 2nd, I think. Um, Noah Brown went down with a non-contact injury, and he required an MRI. And there has been no reports with that ever since. I checked Twitter, I checked Google, like nothing. There's nothing on it. Um, I don't know if it's the reporting is just slow or something, or they haven't revealed it. I don't know. But like Jalen Lane's interesting. If Noah Brown's out, then that just really opens the door for him being the third receiver there. So yeah, that's a great call. Like whenever you know what, whenever I draft Jaden Daniels now, I might go after Jaden Lane there in the 20th round. So I like that.
I mean, he's a Hail Mary. He's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
I'm not saying he's going to break out and be Puka Nakua. I'm only saying, late in these drafts, you're not drafting, sure things anyway, but
yeah.
everybody's drafting the same guys who are not sure things. It might be interesting to mix it up, especially if he pops and this team gets to the playoffs. You just mentioned you're playing against a bunch of other league winners
Yeah.
in those playoffs, and Jalen Lane isn't going to be on a lot of those rosters.
Yeah, you know what? Debo gets hurt often. Yeah, McLaurin's holding out right now. Like, what if he's not in shape? Like, Lane, the things could open up for Lane. Like, that's actually a great call on your part. I like that. I like that. I might start drafting him more often in the 20th round, even if I don't draft Daniels. Yeah, I just completely forgot about him. But you're right. Like, he has a lot of upside. To him. So yeah, I like that for sure. All right, so let's rebound. Let's rebound. Let's review this team. So we went mid round quarterback this time as opposed to Jalen Hurts last time. So we took Drake May, C.J. Stroud, Cam Ward, two of the three quote unquote next Jaden Danielses. As far as like late round quarterbacks who could potentially be top 5 quarterbacks in fantasy. We went receiver heavy early after McCaffrey. So we went A.J. Brown, Jack Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., who somehow fell to 404, Calvin Ridley, then Jaden Reed, who has a lot of upside, and then late round guys, Eric Iomanner, Dontavian Wicks, and Jalen Lane. And then the rest of our running backs, in addition to McCaffrey, we have Henderson, Pacheco, Garendo, 3 running backs week 14 buys, but we made that up with Shipley, Sampson at the end there. And then our tight ends, of course, Tyler Higbee, and then we got another Tyler and Tyler Warren, Dalton Kincaid. So I like the team. I like this. Look, of course, everyone's going to love their team, but I think this looks really good if McCaffrey stays healthy. But look, I mean, we have Garendo anyway, so I guess like our downside is sort of mitigated there. What do you think about this team? Did you like this one more or the first one?
Yeah, I think I like this team more. If you look at our quarterbacks and our tight ends, I think all 5 of those guys have a pretty decent chance
Mhm.
to sort of be higher picks next year, to
Yeah,
outperform where we drafted them. And at receiver, again, we have the proven talent at the top of the draft, and then you've got a guy like Harrison who could leap into that mid first round. You've got Reed, where if they ever play the guy in 2 receiver sets, I mean, he's gonna take a huge jump forward. And even if they don't, he has the spike weeks. We took some good darts later. I think that the success of this team is going to depend on Henderson and Pacheco staying healthy. I think if they stay healthy, that running back 2 spot is in really good position to sort of outperform. But yeah, I like it.
we need Pacheco to be healthy in week 14. That's what it comes down to. Because
Yeah.
if that's not the case, then we're in a lot of trouble week 14. But well, so we'll see how that unfolds. I think I like this team more than the first one for sure. So I like both teams. So great drafting as always with you, Mike. Had a lot of fun. Hopefully you come on next week and we'll talk about if that's possible. But yeah, as always, I love having you on the show. Do you want to say anything on the way out? Maybe something about NFLRoughDraft.com?
Yeah, no, I mean, NFLRoughDraft.com, we're an NFL draft website. We cover it pretty closely. We've been pretty accurate. Again, 3-time Huddle Report accuracy champions, us, Todd McShay, Bob McGinn from the Green Bay Packers beat, and the guy who runs the Huddle Report. But Yeah, I love coming on. It's fantasy football season now. I live this stuff. I don't even follow other sports anymore. I'm just all football all the time. So thanks for having me on, Walt. It's always a pleasure. And for those of you guys who haven't heard this story, um, I first learned about Walt's website 1992. I was watching the Good Morning America, and Brian Gumbel was talking about this new thing called the internet. And he said it was a place where you go to take a look at NFL draft rankings. Um, there's one website, it's called walterfootball.com. So always a pleasure to be on, Walt. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we aren't that quite that old, but it's actually not 7 years away from that. Like 7 years after that, we came into existence. So we were one of the first, but that's funny. It feels. I mean, it's look in October. It's gonna be actually November. It's gonna be 26 years that I've been running the site, which is kind of insane. That's more than half my life. So that's it's been a wild ride. I love doing it, and my wife even asked like, "Are you going to retire at some point?" I'm like, I used to do this for fun. I don't see myself stopping this, unless like I can't like physically type or something. But yeah, I no, this is always a blast. So it's great doing the show with great guests like you, Mike, and then all the people in the chat, just like back and forth and stuff. All the puns we had today was a lot of fun. So
Good
uh,
pun. Yeah.
yeah, with some really good ones. All right, we're gonna be back on Saturday with Tom. Tom's back from vacation, so we always talk nonsense on Saturday. I have no idea where the show is going to go. Sometimes it is a wild ride, so I can't wait to do that with Tom again. And then next week, like I said, gonna do some other stuff than drafts. We'll probably do like one day of drafts next week, and then the week after is the Vegas trip week. So only 2 shows that week. But yeah, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description. The merch store, check out walterfootball.com in addition to NFLroughdraft.com. But yeah, we'll be back on Saturday, like I said, and I hope you guys have a great start to your weekend, and I will talk to you in a couple days.